Saturday, let's talk health now. And there's a popular saying that, many people can relate with. Health is wealth. And so the importance of prioritizing one's health well-being is, needless. Well, according to reports on healthy eating habits and lifestyle choices are among the leading causes of early deaths around the world. The overall effects of these choices can have far-reaching consequences, leading to reduced life expectancy, decreased quality of life, and a financial burden. To address this growing concern, medical experts are emphasizing the importance of adopting a healthy lifestyle, such as eating a balanced diet rich in whole foods and essential nutrients, staying physically active through regular exercise, avoiding smoking and its associated health risks, as well as limiting alcohol consumption to moderate levels and managing stress through relaxation techniques and mindfulness. Right, joining us now for this conversation is a cardiologist and pediatrician, Dr. Dele Ogunko. Thank you very much for joining us on the program.
This morning.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, let us start with where we are in this part of the world, Nigeria, and the little research that came to fore while preparing for the interview was that for us in Nigeria, life expectancy is even way lower than those in Japan, Europe, and elsewhere. Drastic 52, if I'm correct. Yeah. But, help us to understand why this is so.
Yes. There are so many factors responsible for this short life expectancy. The first important thing is the food we eat. We always concentrate more on drinking, smoking, but 70% of the diseases are caused actually by sugar. You say, sugar, how can sugar be so dangerous? When carbohydrate, for example, which is our staple food, swallow, potatoes, yam, this type of food are broken down to glucose. Glucose, sucrose, fructose. Glucose can be very, very dangerous. In our environment, our staple food is mainly carbohydrate. It is killing us. Carbohydrate, for example, when you eat carbohydrate, when it is digested, how you eat, what you eat, when you eat, actually, they all matter. Now, talking about our environment, apart from the eating pattern, we also have to consider even the toxic substances that we ingest, what we drink. We have to think about all these fake drugs that we take. There are so many fake drugs. Even the food, the way we preserve our food, I'm trying to compare what is happening locally to what is happening abroad. Because talking about carbohydrates and talking about sugar, that applies to all of us all over the world. But the life expectancy, as you said, abroad is actually higher than here. But here, why is it that our own life expectancy is down to, 56? Poverty.
Dr. Ogunko, we'll get to talk more on this development, talking about the life expectancy, and it's quite worrisome and challenging, looking at the rate at which we see people die this time around. You made mention of sugar, carbohydrates. What are those things that we can take to improve our life expectancy in the country? Because someone who is into hard labor will tell you that I need sugar in my system to ensure I continue my day-to-day activities.
Okay, right. we all need sugar. We need glucose. But as I said before, it's how you eat the sugar, which I'm going to explain, how you eat, when you eat, and how you eat it. Now, there is what is called glucose spike. You can eat carbohydrates, but you can control your glucose spike. How? The way you eat, for example, let's say you've got swallow in front of you, talking about a laborer who's about to eat. You don't have to be rich to eat healthy. You've got swallow, you've got meat, you've got your stew, you've got the vegetables, and you've got the fruits. Now, which one do you eat first? We're used to eating the swallow first, then we eat the vegetable last. It's the other way around, and I'll tell you why. You need to eat your vegetables first, the fruits next. Then you eat the protein, which is the meat. Then you now use your swallow and your stew. Why is this? Because you are trying to prevent what is called glucose spike. And I'll tell you how dangerous this glucose spike is. Now, when you eat in that pattern, what you're trying to do is creating a mesh, a filter around the stomach. This filter prevents glucose from entering into the bloodstream very quickly. Now, how does this, how does it happen? This mesh, for example, and there are other, apart from eating in this pattern, there are other things you can eat to prevent that glucose spike. Let me talk about this glucose spike first before I go back to how you can prevent the glucose spikes, because apart from the pattern of eating, there are other things you can do to actually to prevent this glucose spike. How dangerous is this glucose spike? One, just imagine a cell. A cell has got, at the center, it's got a nucleus, it's got a membrane, and it's got a cytoplasm. And the organelle in that cell is called mitochondria. Mitochondria is a generator. When we talk about this glucose is supposed to be broken down to energy, as you were saying, which the laborer needs. It's broken down to energy, energy with the oxygen, it's going to carbon dioxide and water. But when you have a glucose spike, what is going to happen to this mitochondria? There is, especially when you have a spike and there is a roller coaster, always having this spike, it inundates the cell. It actually causes mitochondrial dysfunction.
You need to break it down for the ordinary Nigerian that is watching you at the moment. What are those symptoms that you will see or you will notice in your body system before you know that you have a glucose spike?
Yes. Okay, let's just take it one after the other. We have less than 5 minutes, so I'm just trying to see how we can maximize this conversation. But address Emmanuel's question first, and then I'll come up with some follow-ups.
Yes. Okay. If I can quickly go, we can go quickly on that. This glucose spike that I've been talking about actually will cause diabetes, type 2 diabetes. It will cause cardiovascular disorders, cardiovascular diseases. It will cause hypertension. It will cause obesity. It will cause brain fog. It will cause fatigue. You were talking about the symptoms. When you have the spikes and it's a roller coaster, how do you feel? You have just eaten, let's say in the normal way that we eat, not going in the pattern we have just described. Let's say we're just eating like that. I don't know if any one of us, if you've noticed, sometimes after eating, you feel tired. After eating? After eating. 15, 30 minutes, you feel tired. When it goes about, about an hour, you're tired. Then the next thing, you're even hungry. About 2 hours, 1 hour to 2 hours, you're feeling hungry again. Then you may even experience brain fog. Brain fog, this is due to all these symptoms: tiredness, brain fog, and craving for sugar again, or carbohydrate again, getting hungry when you've just eaten not long ago, due to glucose spike.
Right, and then you made an example, or you gave an example of the balanced diet, where you spoke about we need to eat vegetables first, fruits before the main meal, and then you incorporate the main meals with vegetables. Let's have a sense now of this ideal picture that you're talking about. When you say start off with vegetables, what are we talking about? Are we talking about the carrots? Because I would have thought oranges, the citrus, the fruits should be your first meal. And then there's also the challenge that many people talk about, the ready-to-go excuse. This is Nigeria, and you said it, poverty. Basically, where are you going to get somebody with that ideal picture of vegetables here, fruits here, main meal here, all in one meal at a go?
Yes. What we don't realize is that you can... Fruits, as you said, if you can afford to get vegetables, lettuce, for example, is all over the place. You can get lettuce. Fruits, garden egg, it's always there. And in our environment, the fruits and vegetables are seasonal. Go for something which is, in fact, right now, you can easily get carrot. I eat carrot. Garden egg, you can easily get that. That's very good.
Seasonal.
Yes, it's seasonal, exactly. What is available, and which is cheap. You don't have to be rich. Eat what is available. Fruits, as you said. Of course, you can eat fruit first. All I was talking about vegetables. What do these substances contain? The fruits and the vegetables? Fibers.
Which your body needs.
Yes, which your body needs. That is, in fact, is the fibers that you need. That is the one that is going to create the mesh, the filter that will reduce the glucose spike. So instead of having this spike, which is dangerous, which I mentioned before, then that glucose enters the bloodstream slowly. There is no spike created. Now you have just a little hump instead of that spike. It is that spike that is dangerous, not that little hump. So the amount of glucose, the amount of glucose that enters the bloodstream, that is what is creating
so
danger.
Sugar, but then you are also a child health specialist, a pediatrician, and the conception out there is the children need the sugar more than we the adults. So how much is too much? Or is this rule correct medically, that the children need all the sugar?
Yes. There's what you call glycemic, high glycemic index. High glycemic index is about 180 milligram per deciliter. Now, in children too, you see some children, they're hyperactive. I see parents often come to me, they say, oh, I think something is wrong. My child may be having ADHD, or might be having this. They're suspecting that there's something wrong with the brain. Actually, the sugar that we eat, if it's too much, even in children, it can affect the brain. So if it's hyperactive, reduce the sugar. Chocolates, Coke, this Coke is even dangerous. Soft drinks dangerous because these are processed food, and they are even more dangerous.
So
I know, but if you feel, because let me just confess now, there is the Agbo concept, the natural concoctions that, oh, I know my child has had too much sugar, every Saturday go and take Agbo. But medically, if you do not subscribe to that, and I feel that maybe my child has had too much sugar, how then do I decongest?
Oh, if you start too much sugar, you stop giving your child too much sugar.
So what do you give as alternative?
No, one thing we have to get here, everybody needs sugar. Okay. It is when you take too much, that is where the danger is. If you eat, No, and also what I was talking about, the pattern. Glucose spike, glucose dip. Now, you can have a glucose spike, you want to prevent that. I would bring up my child eating vegetables, eating fruits. First, my mother taught me to eat the other way around. Now the teaching, which wasn't taught before, is this one that I am talking about now. Then my child too, we as parents, we bombard. You know, the child is crying. What's the next thing you give?
Biscuit?
Biscuit. Chocolate. Coke is even very dangerous. Do one thing. If you have a scaly WC, pour Coke there. Pour Coke into that WC.
You're mentioning a brand, which is, we are not here to demarket
yes, okay. Beverages, for example. Soft drinks, for example, they contain a lot of fructose. A lot because they have been ultra-processed. Right. And ultra-processed food are very dangerous.
Just in 1 minute before we let you go.
Yes.
As an adult.
Yes.
When do you go for that test to know your sugar level?
Yes. When do you go for the test?
Yeah.
Right. Normally, you see, if you crave, I've just shown you the same. I've just told you about the symptoms. Eating. After eating, you feel tired. Okay. You have brain fog. You're craving every time for sugar. Sometimes you are depressed because too much of sugar can cause depression. Sometimes you're starting to develop diabetes and you go to toilet frequently, and sometimes loss of libido. You can see no erection, ED, erectile dysfunction. Once you see all the signs.
These are dangers.
Yes, they are.
How old are you?
For a test. Me? You can guess.
Because you look so young.
Thank you.
Right.
I'm over 60.
Oh, wow, fantastic. Wow. Absolutely.
Fantastic.
And you've been doing this regularly?
Right. Yes, I do that now, but before I didn't know, because in medical school, we were not taught all these things. It was all about diagnosis, treatment, tests and so on. But now, what is very powerful, which I'm trying to teach and using now, is nutritional medicine. Nutritional medicine, in fact, diabetes, you can just use your nutrition to control diabetes. To clear and to cure diabetes, just nutrition. Dementia, Alzheimer's disease, just nutrition will control that. Hypertension, nutrition will control that. There's what you call ketogenic diet, vegan diet. All these diets, when you incorporate, combined with other things like exercise and so on.
Doctor, it seems you have to come back.
All right. Well, it's a fine place to leave the conversation because after all, our elders are not wrong when they say you are basically what you eat, and that's what we see you stand for. We thank you very much, Dr. Dele Ogunko, and as Emmanuel said, we look forward to having you
no problem
again.
At all. No problem.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
In our next conversation, we discuss how noise pollution can be reduced in Lagos, Nigeria.